You know who Dave Rubin had on his show? MLK scholar, Kevin McCarthy.
Ah.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy, of course, is the minority leader in the House.
Oh, we're back to that. We're back to this bastardizing of MLK's legacy, right?
Minority
leader.
Minority leader. Yeah, minority leader.
He gets minorities.
He gets it.
The minorities wouldn't let him do that if he didn't know what he's talking about.
Minorities made him their leader. So, okay. I rest my case. Here is... MLK would have been against teaching kids critical race theory. Well, part of the reason is, of course, because it's a law school level class. And MLK was really big about age-appropriate learning.
Let's teach them the fundamentals first.
Going to be big, right? Because all of these things about defunding the police, they're all these Democrat policies that are now going in place, we're seeing the outcome, the wokeism, the open border, the inflation. Where we're going to have the biggest victory? School boards. We haven't been paying attention for the last 20 years. Critical race theory goes against everything Martin Luther King has ever told us. Don't judge us by the color of our skin. And now they're embracing it, right? They're going backwards. And the interesting part here is, okay, something else is happening, not just an election, and it'll be a national election for Congress. What history says is the party in power, whoever wins the White House on the first off-year election loses 27 seats. We lost 40, Obama lost 63. So and they have a 5-seat advantage.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Rubin Report. Rubin, of course, asking the tough questions there. MLK, totally against critical race theories, of course.
This is the long-standing conservative tradition, though, of completely, bastardizing, whitewashing. I mean, we talked about Reagan earlier in the show, and his project of trying to gut the Voting Rights Act, while simultaneously, I bring this up every time, being the president that enshrined Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday, which had an effect that essentially completely whitewashed how difficult and how messy and how intense that kind of activism was, and what was needed in terms of fortitude, and that's by design. And so then McCarthy continuing in that legacy. He's just also so bad at this compared to Mitch McConnell. That's my other takeaway from this.
I got a MLK quote here. Whites, it must frankly be said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance. It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn.
You're trying to... Am I supposed to believe that was Martin Luther King? He never said the words white or black.
Yeah, he never talked about race. Everyone's the same color.
Do you think if MLK was still alive, black people would be a little bit nicer and more understanding of white people?
A little bit more obsequious.
I can't believe the way they're bastardizing his thinking. He would never treat critical race theories or trigonometry to elementary school kids. I mean, this is, they are in a completely self-contained bubble now, and that's the scary part about this. It used to be that this stuff would travel, and they would need it to travel outside of these, it was talk radio at the time, or right-wing, small publications, and it would travel to Drudge or Fox, and then vice versa, Fox or Drudge, and then some producer at ABC would pick it up, and then it would all get mainstreamed and this and that. I mean, there was a great thread on the Ilhan Omar scandal from, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something,
right,
that somebody did, and maybe we'll talk about this in the coming days. The stuff gets out there, and then it gets exacerbated sometimes by Democrats. That dynamic, literally Democrats, I'm talking elected officials, exacerbated the Ilhan Omar controversy. But I know this from my own experience that with MSNBC, the initial concern was more a function of the fact that Donald Trump Jr. and Seb Gorka retweeted Cernovich. And there is this sort of like you could take the perspective of like, who cares? They have no legitimacy with a significant portion of the country, A, and B, they're wrong. But that dynamic is largely irrelevant now, for the most part. Obviously, when your own elected colleagues start to criticize you, it's going to have a little more traction than it otherwise would. But this stuff, it doesn't have to travel anywhere except for in these circles, because they're just talking to their own audience now. But
but it will, though, because he literally just said it right there. School boards. That's what they're doing.
Yes,
this
exactly.
This is a grassroots level project. They want to galvanize and energize a base of Trump voters in a new way. And the best way to get them involved in local politics, and then, of course, that bubbles up to the national level, is to drum up this culture war nonsense and say, your kids are being indoctrinated. The kids are being indoctrinated. Yep. And they found a way to actualize it in an actionable way.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.